This is Fred Beck from Fred Talks Fighting, proudly sponsored Vampire Fights. So I'm joined by Michael McCrudden over Zoom today. Obviously, you guys all know Michael from the host of Before They Were Famous. Michael, it's good to have you on the Zoom, mate. How are you?
Great, man. Thanks for having me.
How's your day been then, Michael? What have you been up to then recently? What's kind of day
Uh,
then, Michael?
oh my God, at my age, man, it's actually been a whole day of Excel sheets and paperwork and company, margins and all this like mumbo jumbo. That's not very exciting.
Then you have someone else who does that for you.
The business side of it is like where I'm transitioning, right? Like I've been doing it for a decade. So I've got, younger people hosting the show because they're more in touch with the younger generation. And there's so many of you guys coming up on the daily. So as I transition, I get stuck with the accounting and all that stuff. But so is life, right? I'm also a married man these days.
Yeah, blimey, it does sound quite busy. But if we go back in time and I was to tell the Michael who didn't have one subscriber yet, that before they were famous would be on 3.7 million subscribers, what do you think he would say?
Yeah, my sister actually brought that up the other day, and she's like, Mike's, if you told your 17-year-old self you would become a famous host, like that was all I'd ever dreamt of. I thought I'd like Jeff Probst on Survivor or Ryan Seacrest on American Idol. Like that was really consistent work, and really what I aspire to do. And then when I hit 1 billion views, I'm like, I've made a dent on pop culture. I really checked the box on my life goal.
Do you think that kind of going all the way back in time when YouTube wasn't as big back in the day, do you think if you're going to become like a famous host, that'd be more of a TV side of things? You wouldn't probably become a famous host on YouTube.
Yeah, like there's not many people. I guess there are, but they're more corporate entities. They're not so many independent. Like you're hosting now yourself. But when I started, I think that's what made me different, right? And like I put the big clouds behind me. This is show business. This is Hollywood. And I just wanted to do the hosting. I didn't really want to vlog. I didn't want to bring people too close to me because I was working 12 hours a day. It was pretty boring. So I think the fact that I owned it and was like, I'm here to stand up and host is what got KSI and Pewdiepie to react to the videos. To yo, this guy's going for it.
Does that give you kind of the best kind of sense of satisfaction when other people you do the videos on react to them and kind of compliment you on them? Is that the best feeling?
Well, I'm nervous, right? Because their audience is typically bigger, or at the time I'm talking about them, more viral than me. So, I've had it both good and bad, but I'm always terrified. I have someone on the team watch it before I watch it, because you never know, right? And then we try and do the best research we can, but you can mispronounce something, or you can totally misfire, right? They're living in a new city now, so you're always oh my gosh. But I have to say, the bad ones you remember, but there's been way more positive. Even from really young new stars, they're yo, I grew up with this guy. What's up? It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's quite cool. I guess that's quite common. That's quite true to kind of remember the bad ones more. I know that if you get negative comments, those are the ones that kind of tend to stick in your mind for a little bit longer than the positive ones, which is a bit odd. But I guess it's just how it is. But nowadays, it's quite hard to find people who make original content. You have found something very original with Before They're Famous. Where'd you get the idea for that?
I think it was like a personal obsession of my own, right? So I was a child actor, and the industry was totally different. You needed an agent, you needed to be in LA, you needed to have all these things, the gatekeepers, which cost a lot of money to do it. So you'd spend a lot of time being well, how did they do it? And I love stories that Eminem was a cook, and Brad Pitt drove women he was an Uber driver before Uber. And those were stories that resonate with me, because I'm man, people do catch a break. So I thought, if I'm so obsessed, it's gonna relate to other people. And I guess when that happened, I just ran with it.
And obviously for the videos, you used to do a ton of research, and it's quite a good thing to get that research right. Have there ever been times where you got that wrong, the research?
The research?
Yeah.
Well, when I started the show, the internet was child's play. It was nothing. You would look up like PewDiePie and the Wikipedia page would be like, you know, like 3 sentences or so. Like it was so to have to watch their videos to look for the tidbits where they're like, oh, I moved to Italy, or like you were like putting together a puzzle. So, but now you're like there's just so much information for every thing, right? Like there'd be like 13 different websites for someone's net worth. So now it's like, it's almost a problem with, there's too much stuff. I don't know. It changes every year, right?
Yeah, obviously you need to keep. I guess you need to keep updating. Do you find that happens when you make an old video on Eminem, and do you ever have time you update it, or once you've done one video with someone, that's it, done forever?
No, we definitely like, especially now too, where like I've done it probably 5 times, and I've gotten millions of views, and then I've misfired and gotten 50,000 views. But like he performs at the Super Bowl. Who else you get? Like that's the biggest show in the world, right? So you got to kind of, so I remember when we redid it this time, I kind of made it like different. Like I just focused in on his mom and his dad. And we tried to spin it like a different, that's actually like a really before, but yeah, you kind of like, if we redo it, we always improve it or change it. But sometimes you just have to, like, even when I was starting, like everyone just wanted more Post Malone. And then I'm like, all right, I come up with a new show, The Rich Life, just to figure out another way to talk about the guy. But that's just like the nature, right? You build a channel and then you're going to have like the best hits. And then that's kind of your algorithm. And that's the direction you need to keep propelling it.
Oh, okay. It's quite interesting what you were saying there. Obviously for the channel, you get yourself kind of extremely busy. Do you find that you do all the research now, or just someone else who does it for you?
Oh no, I couldn't. I have
Really?
like I did it up until about like 2020 probably, and then I was just getting like, it's because it's like 8 hours, but then I really spent a lot of my nights like cruising the internet, like for trends or for new stars. I'm like always on Instagram looking for like who's there. TikTok's got so many, like the music industry. So I'm always like scouting, and then I come in and then I spend 8 hours digging, but 7 days a week is a lot. So that's why we spread out with more people. Someone takes on the writing, some other hosts, they have to do the writing. I find it's best when the host writes it themselves because it's more genuine. But I've been doing this so long, I kind of, that's how it works for me.
Yeah, it's fair enough, really. After doing something for 11 years, you kind of deserve a little break, especially with the research, which I guess it's kind of considered more the boring part of things. But that's interesting what you're saying there about how you kind of upload the video when that person's trending. How do you decide when the right time is to upload a video of someone that you've never had on the channel before?
We're constantly adjusting. We really don't really know until the day, which isn't, I don't think that's the best way to build a business. Like, but I think like a newspaper doesn't know what they're going to put on the front page till they hit print, right? So there's always like, yeah, like and then when you got a big channel, there's like old videos that are kind of picture like, oh, we could look back at that. But it's kind of like pop culture. But for me, I always try and find like new stars that are popping up on, like Genius is obviously got all the music stars. But the podcasts are just killing it. So, and then, yeah, I kind of like people that aren't like really new, and like maybe like if I do a YouTuber with 10 million subscribers and stuff, I don't think it's to my benefit. Like they've got so many subscribers, I'm only going to get wedged in there so far. If they react to it, it's a home run. But if they don't, it's hard to like compete with their algorithm.
Oh, that's quite interesting then. What percentage of people react to your videos? I guess most people will watch them if you made them on themselves, but what percentage of people react to the videos on camera, trying to upload on their channel?
Depends. It's funny. It's usually the more iconic people. It's so funny because like what came to mind there was EDP. This guy's gotten himself into a ton of trouble in the time since, but he gave me the most scathing review. Like I got his bio right, and he fabricated, like, he just went after me. Anyway, he turned out to be like a total criminal, and he's in prison now. So people kind of, you figure out what they're all about with how they react to it. Like PewDiePie, gave me some licks, but at the end of the day was a sweetheart and shared his audience with me. Like, what a blessing. So you really get to know them almost. It's like, it's a weird way of kind of meeting someone.
I can see what you mean. That's quite, I guess PewDiePie, he comes across, I guess PewDiePie seems like quite a kind of hardworking person. He's quite a friendly person because when they do those live streams, when you kind of really see what they're like, unless they're a really, really good actor, being able to act like someone else for 5 hours straight, then you kind of do get an idea of what they're about. But I saw an interesting video that came up on the channel recently where you're kind of looking for more hosts and more people to kind of host the before they're famous. Are you kind of moving away from it now? Is that kind of the plan?
I'm going to take a photo with you, buddy. Yeah, I kind of, like I've been trying to transition. So it's all about like what works for the business too, right? So like when the pandemic hit or just before it, I built this brand new studio where I was going to do more interviews. And I'm in this place in Toronto where the stars come and like all the concerts and stuff are. So that was the plan. But then the pandemic put us in a box for another 2 years. And I'd already been in a box for 5-7 years. So I was like, damn, all right, well, I don't want to keep putting this like the same way. So I saw there's tons of entertainers in Toronto. I've got one of the bigger channels. So I gave the opportunity to others. Some people worked, some people did not. But that's, to me, I'm like, the more the merrier. But it's also kind of tough, right? Because a lot of people come back and say, where's Mike? Where they don't think it's the same show. And some people have gotten millions of views and some people have gotten 10,000 views and said, I'm never going to subscribe again without him. So I don't know, it's tough. But like I said, I'm getting older and I really do think it's a show about like sharing the spotlight. And I feel like if I had 4 hosts, it would be the best.
I understand it's quite stressful because I saw on your channel, you guys are upload like once a day, twice a day. And that's quite hard work doing it, obviously with the school work and all that kind of balance. Is it stressful for you guys at the very beginning? I know now you've got a team, so it might be a little bit easier. But at the very start, when you're uploading kind of daily or every other day, and you guys are doing kind of top quality videos, does that kind of put a lot of stress on your shoulders?
Yeah, and that's another thing. Like I started wanting weekends because it's just like a constant grind, right? And I put myself in like a professional background. Like I had to get there, not like I was in the comfort of my home. It's not like my videos were not edited. Like, streaming's a lot more chillax than what I'm doing. Sorry, I kicked my table. So I put myself in a bit of a stressful situation. But I think that was what made the show special. It was like, yo, this guy's really going for it. So I don't know. You look at life, like it worked for so long. I definitely did something right, but I definitely want to have weekends now and, enjoy my house. I moved to a different city and all that stuff.
Well, I'm sure you did do something right, Michael. Those 3 million subscribers. I'm sure it's gone pretty good. But did it feel weird when you made that video on yourself? How kind of Michael got famous? Was that kind of weird? But I guess the research must be a lot easier for that one.
Yeah. No, that one started once the show gained momentum. That what do I want to tell? And like, what were the because I'm also trying to like map out what I want the show to be. Like, it's inspirational. Like, if you're a guy mowing the lawn, you're probably thinking one day I'm going to tell the story of how I almost ran over a turtle, whatever. Or like, I was so broke, I had to mow the lawn to pay back a bet. And I was like, whatever. But like, you're going to think to yourself, like, this will be the time I'm going to, once I was so down in the dumps, I had to mow grass, whatever. But like, that's what I was trying to get across, is like all these moments in my life that I was trying to do something, trying to get into the biz. And I think a lot of people do that. They're like, they think, oh, one day I'll tell this story. And that's what I'm trying to get across with the show.
Do you believe that a lot of people watch that video and they're a lot more able to relate to you through that video after they watched it?
Yeah, well, I think they go, damn, this guy's been giving it for a while, right? Like, he didn't just show up. He's been, it's a lifelong journey for him, right? Yeah, that was a very special video for me to make. It was really long, really intimate. Everyone that helped me was included in it. My mom, my dog, everybody. Yeah, man. But like when it went up, it didn't do that well. Like it was like a dud. And everything else, like Mia Khalifa and Dan Bilzerian were getting millions, and no one cared about me. But that's, you look back and you see what works and what doesn't.
I guess the video aged very well because now it's on 450,000 views, so it hasn't done too badly. But just putting the YouTube aside for the minute, I know you mentioned at the start of the interview how you kind of grew up doing a little bit of acting. I know you're in the film Dumb and Dumber, and kind of Jim Carrey was your idol. What was that all experience like for you?
Crazy, dude. I was starstruck too. Like, and I think being Canadian, Hollywood's, I don't know what it's like in England, but if like Ireland, you're like, I'll never get to England as a kid. Canada's like, I'll never get to Hollywood. I don't know. You just have like this complex, like it's too far away. So even though he's Canadian, he's like the guy, right? So I literally sat behind him for like 2 or 3 days. I could count the hairs on the back of his ear, but it was wild because I got to see like the manic magic, right? Like the director was like, Jim, can we cheat the shot? Can you sit forward just an inch for the angle? And he said, absolutely no. All of a sudden, 30 people came out to move that camera that inch. And he's like the master of what he does. So his physicality, he's like, I can't fake. I need to sit in my place to do my stuff. And like, so it was a life-changing, the best thing ever. Just the artistry and the genius, and a nice guy. I think I bought him a Red Bull, but it was like, I was just an artist to meet him, talk to him, whatever.
What was better, to be in the film or to actually meet him?
Oh, to meet, just get a photo with him. And then like, I think I had a shitty camera, but just to get a photo with him, everyone who knew me was like, wow, Michael did, like, that's the other life goal done.
And what are your other life goals then? That's one done.
Yeah. And then, dude, I swear, getting married and getting a house, I just did that, done. So now, I just want to kind of live a happy life, and like you're gonna work the rest of your life no matter how. Like, I found YouTube success, but I'm no like oh, I'm retired. So I'm gonna be working, but like obviously I think I've got a resume now that'll keep me in the creative world. And being a mentor for this YouTube train just started now. It's like I got in at like the early years, and it's gonna go on for 100. So there's gonna be a lot of mentoring, and there's gonna be before they're famous, I think, for the next 20 years. There's just gonna be so many stars.
Well, it's a kind of a show that can never kind of die out, is it? Because more people are becoming well known and more people are becoming famous. So it sounds pretty good. But for yourself though, over the next few months, what's the kind of the menu? What's coming up for you?
I just got some like business deals that I can't even talk about. But yeah, more like just working behind the scenes on the business and in Toronto. And like, yeah, we were in Vegas where we got married this year, February 14th. And just getting the house, like I'm painting and building a little home studio because like it's an hour to the work studio. So just, adjusting to life, really. It's just like, I had to pay my gas bill yesterday. Do you know how much gas is for it's like $500. I didn't even know that.
What was that for 1 month?
It was like a month and a half, and then we just moved in, so we signed up and stuff. But like, I'm just learning all this stuff that I'm like, oh my God, being an adult is crazy.
Yeah, blimey. But don't tell me about, I'm 17, so I guess I like to think I got a little while yet, but Michael, thanks so much for the time today. I put all your social links and all that sort of thing, the link to before you're famous, in the description. But thanks so much for the time. I'm sure we'll catch up soon, mate.
Cool, man.